Hi guys, so this is the second time I'm filming this video. My phone totally just, like the screen went black and then the video disappeared, but I have already done this whole page with examples and everything, and so I'm gonna have to do that again. My video is about 13 minutes long, so I'm going to redo it for you guys. So I want to start with what you already know how to do. Gosh, now I'm going blank. Let's see how I started this video. What I want you to... Okay, let's go back to the sheet. I just don't want you... I didn't want you looking at the answers. We are going to be comparing fractions today, just like you did yesterday, but instead of just comparing fractions with different denominators, remember this is the denominator and the top part is the numerator, and it might have been a little slow for you guys to do these because you had to really think, well, what is an eighth and what is a fifth? Maybe you had to draw it out. Maybe it took you longer to do these. Well, today we're going to learn how to take these two fractions and make it so that they both have the same denominator, which is the bottom part. And you may think that that is tricky, but it's not. And just by looking at what I have already done for you, oh, that makes me so sad that my video deleted. I guess I'll have to maybe pause at 10 minutes. I don't know why my phone did that. But let's see, 1/4, and they want us to compare 1/4 and 3/8, but they want us to convert the 1/4. It's always easier to go bigger than smaller, so we're going to convert this 1/4 so that it looks like, so that the denominator has an 8 instead of a 4. But first I want to remind you of a trick that we did earlier, and that is, this might look very familiar to you guys. I'm going to do this little trick here. And 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. And do it again. And 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to draw these guys out to show you that I didn't do anything to the fraction. Notice how they're all the same. They're all equal to 1/2. All of these are equal to 1/2. Now I could have done, no, I'll just stick with that. So all of these are equal to 1/2. And we did this trick in class. And all I'm doing is I'm multiplying these two. And it's really important to note that whatever I did at the top, I do to the bottom, and I do it the same. So I did 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. If I would have done a different number, times 4, let's just use 4 as an example. 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. Well, look at that. Same fraction. I am not changing, I'm not changing the picture of the fraction, so I'm only just changing the I'm changing the numerator and denominator, but I'm not making the fraction different. So let's take a look at this first one. What it wants us to do is compare 3/8 and 1/4. It wants us to take this this guy, 1/4, and they gave us these boxes. They gave us this, and then they gave us these boxes, and another box, and then the 8. So they're telling us that the denominator has to become an 8. So 4 times what equals 8? Well, 4 times 2 equals 8. So 1 times, well, remember what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. If I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. So 1 times 2 is 2. And now I have 2/8. In my last video, I showed you this visually too. So I'm going to do that. I just remembered. So I'm going to take 1/4. And I'm going to draw that on a strip. And I'm going to make the lines nice and long. Okay. I'm going to color in 1/4 because that is the fraction that they gave us. Now I'm going to make this strip, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to make it 8ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now there's 8 parts. I didn't change that. I kept this the same. I did not add any more to this fraction bar. But now it's 2/8 instead of 1/4. But is it the same? Yeah. I didn't cut any more off of that loaf of bread, did I? Nope. I just sliced it thinner, but I took the same chunk off. I took 1/4 of the loaf off, or I took 2/8 of the loaf of French bread. And so then what it wants you to do is when you get that answer, they want you to shade this in so that you can compare the fractions in a visual way. And I already said that this is the same thing that you guys were working on in yesterday's lesson. And then this time they gave us the numerator and they want us to find these multipliers. Even though I wrote the answer, I'm going to show you how I got that answer. Okay, so 1/4. And then let's take our other color and we're gonna go like this. Equals blank. And they already gave us the 3 up here. This is actually easier than it looks, even though this looks crazy with all these blank spots. What I want you to do in these situations is to cover half of it. When you cover half of it, it looks a lot simpler. It's an equation that you should have known at a blink of an eye. 1 times blank equals 3. Well, 1 times 3 equals 3. And that's how I get that answer. So whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom, remember? So 4 times 3 is 12. And this is the answer. So they gave us the numerator. We found the denominator. And now I shaded it in. And I want you to note that these are still the same. Okay, let's turn the page. So this page right here is pretty much what you guys were doing yesterday. So I really want to focus on these guys right here. This is where I want you to start for your practice. This is too confusing. I don't like it. So let's just work on this. Now I'm really nervous because my video is at 10 minutes. I'm nervous my phone is going to freak out like it did before. So I will try doing a couple examples for you. So number one, it wants us to compare these fractions now, 2/5 and 1/10. Well, I told you it's always easier to go up. It's always easier to go up. We are always going to be going up, so we need to change this 5 to a 10. Let's erase this. I'm going to write that out. So 2/5 equals, okay, they are doing this. This might look confusing, okay, but all they're doing is they're making you rewrite it. Now I have no space. They just want you to write 2/5. I don't know why they do this. So let's just focus on this part. They want us to make it a 10. So that is the fact that we know. We're going to convert this 5 to a 10. That is going to be the easiest way. Remember, this whole lesson is about converting the denominators so that they have the same denominators in both fractions. And so, because right now, it wants us to compare these two. Well, I need to make these have the same denominators. And remember, I'm always going to go up. So I'm going to make this 5 a 10. That way I'm doing multiplication instead of division. Okay, so remember, if you need to, cover that up. Cover it up. 5 times what equals 10? 5 times 2 equals 10. So that means I have to do the same thing at the top. 2 times 2 equals 4. So 4/10. Okay, let's write that over here. So it wants us to go like this. I don't know why it wants you to copy it. And then let's write that 10 down here, because that's the goal. That's the goal. Okay, so that means 5 times 2 equals 10. 2 times 2 equals 4. And now we can compare these two fractions. So 1/10, let's draw a little circle here, and 4/10. Well, this one is bigger. So when we go down here, we'd have to do it this way because this is the same thing as that guy. Okay. So I will do, so these are the same thing that you did yesterday. You don't have to change the fractions. This one wants you to change the fractions. This one wants you to find the statements that made true. You did this yesterday. You did this yesterday. You did this yesterday. This is the only new part. That's it. Okay, this same thing. Draw out the number strips if you have to. Same with this. Same with this. Look at my video from yesterday. These sections are the same thing from yesterday. This part is the only new part. So go ahead and try this one on your own. Try to make the denominators the same. Well, let's see how they did it in the book. Actually, I'm a little confused. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not read the directions. This one, they want you to make a common denominator. This one, they want a common numerator. Because I was thinking, you can't do that with 4 and 10. 4 times, no, that doesn't work. I was reading it wrong. So this one wants you to do a common numerator, which is the top, which means you need to make this 3. I don't know why it wants you to rewrite this. They want you to make this 3 a 6. So what goes in here? And then you'll figure out the rest on your own. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. You guys are going to do great. That's all from me.